العليون شخن معوني عشير شيرا حدا شاف دالي زغاي تاني عدتو هكدو شعار عبد بام غدو شني هاميتني عبدك شمع تعكتا دقم اتناكتا بقبل تفلتا يدي بيد غامام يوم لا يبشانه بقومك سولين شيرا حدا شاشب حوجة قولين يوم بزغني خبابتها بين المنطقة والخاعوز يسالتها ميت بيوليني بخل رؤي يشرون بعتهم خايشون الكائل يشرون بخل أيبن بنيلين يوم لا يبشانه بكومة سولين شيرا حدا شاشب بحوجة قولين يوم لا يبشانه بكومة سولين شيرا حدا شاشب بحوجة قولين هباين عمّخ بالغيث حوتانخ بتل شنخا هماني موني يوم لا يبشانه بخومتوني شيرا حدا شاشب بحوجة قولين يوم لا يبشانه بخومتوني شيرا حدا شاشب بحوجة هكرنا دغر إمام شمت هكرنا دبر مين هحتمي قول مين هبتيلي يوم لا يبشانه ومتولي شيرا حداشا شبه وبقولي يوم لا يبشانه ومتولي شيرا حداشا شبه وبقولي ارقد يا علي ارقد يا العالي عمل حاك اسمك العزيز منو بقلالي ارقد يا العالي ارقد يا العالي عمل حاك اسمك العزيز منو بقلالي وارحم ارحم يا الطايب شوف شمايل ارحم يا الطايب شوف شمايل قلبي المغموم الحي هنينا فتنا من كلام الحي هنينا فتنا من كلام يبكي زنوب سفت فيا عدياني قول لي على حرباني تداني قول لي على سفت فيا عدياني قول لي على حرباني تداني قول لي على او قول لي على دلني حلف او قول لي على
Well, a Chag Urim Sameach to everyone out there in Cyber Shul. I hope everyone's having a great Hanukkah so far. Cantor Paul Bush here from Temple Beth Israel, and very happy to having you join us. In case you were wondering what the musical selection was that I was playing. The Orchestra Andalud Israel, a kind of an Arabic Israeli orchestra, plays the music of Morocco, and I guess I was motivated by the announcement a couple of days ago that Israel and the Kingdom of Morocco are normalizing relations. And anyway, just thought that would be cool. So let's see. I don't know if. Sorry, I'm getting notifications on my.
It's okay. I had sent you a text before, but.
Okay, and was it anything I need to be concerned about?
It was that I was having trouble getting onto Zoom, but I said
okay.
with me.
Well, you're here, so that's fabulous.
I'm here, so it just said connecting, and it kept going connecting, but I wasn't actually connecting, so it was just problematic.
Well, you're here now, and welcome.
Thank you. Good to see everybody, and happy Hanukkah, and welcome to those who are with us also on Facebook Live. I'm going to look and see who you are right now. So welcome to Adele, and to Francine, and to Ellen, and to Nancy, and to Debbie, and whoever else is with us on Facebook Live. It's great to have you. We're going to start with a song to get us started, and then we will light our Hanukkah for those who have one. And hi, Michelle. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Great to see you. And then we will, I'll share a story, and then we'll have our Siyyum. So let's start with the song, Cantor Paul.
A little newish Hanukkah song, with newish for us anyways. Oh, if I were a dreidel, tell you what I'd do. I'd spin around and I'd spin around a million times, and I would play with you. Oh, if I were a dreidel, oh, if I were a dreidel, I were a dreidel, I'd spin along with you. Oh, if I were a latke, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd fry myself in lots of oil, and I'd get eaten by you. Oh, if I were a latke, if I were a latke, I were a latke, I'd get eaten up by you. If I were a candle, I would tell you what I'd do. I'd put myself in your manure and I'd get lit by you. Oh, if I were a candle, if I were a candle, if I were a candle, then I'd get lit by you. Well, if I were some gelt, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd find my way to your house and make a gift to you. Oh, if I were some gelt, oh, if I were some gelt, if I were some gelt, I'd make a gift to you. By now you get the gist of the song. So let's do that first verse one more time. Everybody dance around. Well, if I were a dreidel, I'd tell you what I'd do. I'd play myself on your table and I'd spin around for you. Well, if I were a dreidel, if I were a dreidel, if I were a dreidel, I'd spin myself around you. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, if I were Dreidel. Where's that song from, Cantor Paul? I think that's a new one for me.
It's an old Judy Kaplan Ginsburg song from a number of years ago that I kind of resurrected. To use a not too appropriate way to describe that, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. All right. Well, happy fifth night, everybody. And thanks for spending a few minutes of it with us. We're gonna light our Hanukkah. I don't have one easily here. I could turn my computer. It's in the next room, but they're eating, and they're messy and noisy. But Cantor Paul has one behind him, and I see that everybody else has one on their screen. So let's start by lighting our shamash, our helper candle, and then we'll make the blessings. And after we make the blessings, we'll light the rest of the candles.
Sorry, the caddy was parked in the wrong direction. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu Bayamim hahem bazman hazeh.
Everybody can light if you haven't yet. All right. Happy Hanukkah. I like the light increasing each night, as is our job in the world to increase the light. So this is not a Hanukkah story, but it is a story that is about recognizing the miracles in our midst that we so often miss out on. Among the many Israelites who left Egypt were two men, Shlumiel and Buz. Slaves never look up. They only look down. And as slaves their entire lives, Shlumiel and Buz had grown so accustomed to looking down they could no longer lift their eyes. When Moses brought us across the Red Sea, we all witnessed the great miracle. The sea parted and we escaped from slavery. The people became a free people. We came to know that God has a purpose in our history. Shlumiel asked Buz, "What do you see?" "I see mud," Buz responded. "I see mud too. What's all this about freedom? We had mud in Egypt. We have mud here." And they missed the miracle of their escape. The sea split before them, but they didn't see it. They only saw mud. Then we stood at Mount Sinai in the presence of God and heard God's voice proclaiming the commandments. We accepted God's covenant and pledged ourselves to become a holy people, God's partners in healing the world. Shlumiel asked Buz, "What do you hear?" "I hear someone shouting commands," Buz answered. "I hear commands too. What's all this about Torah? They shouted commands in Egypt and they shout commands here." And they missed the miracle of hearing God's voice. God spoke to every Israelite, but Shlumiel and Buz didn't hear God's voice. They had heard enough commands. Finally, after 40 years of wandering in the desert, they arrived at the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the land promised our ancestors. We arrived in the place of our fondest dreams. Buz asked Shlumiel, "How do you feel?" "My feet hurt," Shlumiel replied. "My feet hurt too. What's all this about a promised land? My feet hurt in Egypt. My feet hurt here." And they missed the miracle of entering our own land, Eretz Israel. The Israelites returned to the land promised to them by the covenant. The promise to our ancestors was fulfilled. But Shlumiel and Buz didn't know it. They knew none of it. Their feet hurt too much. So what did they do? Shlumiel and Buz turned around and began walking back to Egypt. Some say that Shlumiel and Buz are still wandering in the wilderness, looking down at the desert sand and rocks and complaining to each other. Others say they went back to Egypt, back to Pharaoh, back to slavery, back to the place they knew best, back to the place where they began. Still others say they've seen Shlumiel and Buz, or perhaps their descendants, walking among us, living right here and now, wandering about with their eyes cast down, missing all the miracles that are taking place around them all the time. They haven't any idea where they're going, and they continue to miss all the many chances to know what life is about. If only they could lift up their eyes and see. Where's Cantor Paul going? I only see a right elbow.
Never left. I'm here.
All right. So let's take a minute and say hello before we move into our Siyyum. Anybody who wants to say hello or wish a happy Hanukkah? Anybody want to do that? Aurora, you want to say hello? And then we'll go over to Lisa and Michelle over there and then Becca. Hi. What's happening?
I made this for Mom yesterday.
You want to talk to him?
No.
No?
I made this for Mom yesterday.
Did you help Mommy cook?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what you did?
I picked. You can pick you to this, or you could do this with it.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. You too.
3 more happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Aurora. All right. Becca, do you have something you want to share?
Happy Hanukkah, and I lit my own candles.
Wow. Good job. Good job.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah. Michelle and Lisa.
Hello.
Hi, happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Simon, I'm sorry to hear about your brother. Love you. Good to see everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Simon. Yvonne has to unmute you first. There you go.
I'd like to thank Paul for that introductory music. It got me a few hundred years back.
Oh, are you that old? Oh, I didn't know.
Check his paperwork.
And there is you got it in an email, but just to pick up on Lisa's comment, there is a Shiva in memory of Simon's brother, Charlie, on Thursday evening. So anybody's welcome to join us for that at that time. And I had a nice conversation with the rabbi in El Paso and just how beloved Charlie was to them. And it was lovely. So and he'll be with us too on Thursday. So that's a nice piece as well.
Belovedness certainly runs in the family.
Yes. All right, let's move into our Shema Hashkivenu prayers, Cantor.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat Sukkot shlomecha ufros aleinu. Sukkot shlomecha. Amen.
So just a few announcements. We'll be back on Wednesday night at the same time at 6:45 for our little gathering, our Zoom Siyyum, and want to remind people, if you signed up, you have to have already signed up, but if you signed up for the Nefesh Mountain concert, if you did that it is available beginning this evening, and you can watch it any time this week, and enjoy that. And and we are, of course, when we get to the end of the week, we will be done by Shabbat with Hanukkah, but we will have lovely Shabbat services at 6:30 and at 7:30 in our regular slots for family service. We'll be back next week for family service, and our Shabbat Classic continues over these days. Cantor Paul, do you have anything you want to add? Anything going on that you want to?
Not particularly. I do hope to be on with our preschool friends tomorrow at 11. We had a wonderful program this morning with Naomi Howland, who read her book Latkes, Good to Eat. That's archived on our TBI Pomona preschool Facebook page. You can get to that through our regular Facebook page also. There's a link there. And just look forward to a few more days of increasing the light.
And hello to Beth and Lori and Rita and Andy from San Francisco. So people who have joined us and watching with us on Facebook Live. And we'll end with another song before we say good Laila Tov, before we say goodnight.
Hanukkah lindesta aquí, ocho candelas para mí. Hanukkah lindesta aquí, happy Hanukkah's here. Ocho candelas para mí, 8 candles for me. Oh, everybody has to sing along with oh, and I want to see your lips going into the big oh. Una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. Muchas fiestas vou fazer. Gonna go to a lot of parties con alegrias y placer. Although not this year. Muchas fiestas vou fazer. Con alegrias y placer. I'm gonna have to find my happiness and pleasure here on our Zoom Siyyum. But we can still go, oh, count them down now. Una candelica, dos candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. Los pastelicos voy comer. Ooh, I'm gonna eat little pastries. Con almendricas y la miel, with almonds and honey. Los pastelicos voy comer. Con almendricas y la miel. Oh, almonds and honey. Kind of like a baklava. Oh, but with almonds instead of pistachios. Una candelica, dos candelicas, tres candelicas, cuatro candelicas, cinco candelicas, seis candelicas, siete candelicas, ocho candelas para mí. Muted Rabbi.
Looking forward to seeing you soon on at least on Wednesday night when we come back together again, and wishing everybody a Chag Urim Sameach, a happy Festival of Lights. Lehitraot. See you soon.
Lehitraot. Thank you all for joining us. Increase the light. Good night, Yvonne. Good night, Simon. Good night, everybody. Wonderful to see you.